It's the Super Dungeon Brothers Super Show with Dungeon Dan and DM Steve. Hello, YouTube. It is I, DM Steve, and he, Dungeon Dan.
Hey there.
And there's
That
no game
that was
tonight.
that was that was stupid.
Thanks.
I, I bet AI didn't write that, did it?
It did not. That was total ad lib. And if you like ad libs and stupidity, and all that stuff, hit like and subscribe and everything. Unfortunately, there's no game tonight. Obviously, this is the Super Dungeon Brothers Super Show with us,
Him
me,
and me.
correct, and we're horribly unprepared,
Yes,
but
we are.
and late, very very late, but that's okay because this the show that we're doing. uh
So just to give you an idea,
I've
just
already
to explain
I've
a
talked about
couple
this
things.
so many times.
Yeah.
You know,
Um,
I've explained it.
there were some issues with some of the guys tonight. People weren't able to show up, so really no game. Uh, Actually, Jay did show up for just a little while,
Which
but
made us even more late.
which made us a little late because we were talking to him off camera. He didn't want to be on. He had other things he had to do, so that's why you have the two of us tonight. Which I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
unfortunately.
sorry for what's about to happen, but it's gonna happen,
So,
and you're gonna watch it. You're gonna like it. You're gonna subscribe because it's happening, and you're gonna ring the notification bell because you want more of this to happen. You might even leave a comment just because.
all right. So,
Yeah.
AI, because one of the guys, Cameron, had a family emergency, wasn't going to be able to play this week. I had this idea. I was watching TikTok and
First mistake.
yeah, and it gave me an idea for a game that I didn't want to write myself. And I remembered that Windows had this new AI copilot. And I decided, hey, maybe Copilot can write our game since Cameron is not going to be here. Assuming that everybody else, at that point, I was assuming everybody else was going to be here. So I thought maybe, just maybe, since it's last minute, I can get AI to write a game. And so I asked the AI to write a game where the players were employees working at a fast food restaurant called Charby's at the night shift. And it kicked out a game called The Midnight Shift at Charby's Fast Bites. And so I kind of had to clarify some things and, you know, finesse it a little bit. But I eventually got something that was amusing and possibly playable. We were going to find out. We didn't find out because obviously it's just the two of us here and there's no Charbies. I'm still holding it in reserve, but it made me wonder, could an AI like Chat GPT that we have here, could it make me a BECMI adventure, a Dungeons and Dragons BECMI game, like a playable one? and I wasn't confident that that was going to be the case. But I feel like I got a game out of this thing. I don't know if it's like a great game,
Mhm.
but it's definitely a game. I mean, it could start you off. It's almost the start of a whole campaign. It really gave me a lot of information,
Interesting. Interesting.
right? So you can see the prompt, the initial prompt that I put in here. So create a one session adventure module for the BECMI Dungeons and Dragons game for a party of 3 to 4 sixth level characters. Set the adventure in a city and have a mix of intrigue, mystery, and combat. Title of the adventure: A Sorrowful Night in the City of Light. So that's what I told it, right? So here's what Chat GPT gave me. Of course, the title: Adventure Background. In the bustling metropolis of Arcadia, known as the City of Light for its grandeur and enlightenment, a dark shadow lurks beneath the surface. A series of mysterious disappearances have plagued the city, leaving its citizens fearful and the authorities baffled. Rumors swirled of a clandestine organization operating in the shadows, orchestrating these vanishings for their nefarious purposes. Pretty
Okay.
general, but so far so
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah. It's a decent little hook. Yeah.
Okay. Adventure synopsis. The party is approached by a distressed noblewoman named Lady Evangeline. Her daughter has recently gone missing under mysterious circumstances. She beseeches the adventurers to aid her in uncovering the truth behind the disappearances and rescuing her daughter, Adriana. Right? So then it gives
Okay.
me some key
Okay.
NPCs. The Lady Evangeline, a noble woman with a regal bearing. She is desperate to find her missing daughter and is willing to reward handsomely for her safe return. Adriana, Lady Evangeline's daughter, a young and spirited woman who vanishes without a trace. Captain Roland, the captain of the city guard. He is overwhelmed by the recent surge in disappearances and welcomes any assistance in solving the case. Thaddeus Blackwood, a mysterious figure rumored to be involved in the underground criminal activities of Arcadia. He may have information about the disappearances, but is not to be trusted.
Okay.
Then we've
Okay.
got some adventure hooks. So, the party encounters Lady Evangeline weeping in the streets, begging for help in finding her daughter. Number two, the city guards seek out the party, recognizing their prowess and offers a reward for their assistance in solving the case. Or a clandestine message is delivered to the party, hinting at a conspiracy within the city and urging them to investigate further. So
Okay.
pretty good
Okay.
hooks for getting them,
Mhm.
people into the
Yeah.
adventure. So we've got adventure progression, investigation. The party must gather clues by interrogating witnesses, investigating crime scenes, and unraveling the web of intrigue that shrouds the city. They may uncover connections to a secret society operating in Arcadia, pulling the strings behind the disappearances. Confrontation. As the party delves deeper, they come face to face with the members of the clandestine organization, leading to tense negotiations or heated combat encounters. Rescue mission. The adventurers finally discover the whereabouts of Adriana, held captive in an underground hideout by the organization's leader. They must navigate treacherous traps and confront formidable foes to rescue her before it's too late. This is all pretty general.
Very much so. Yes.
Resolution. Adriana rescued, and the truth behind the disappearance is revealed. The party earns the gratitude of Lady Evangeline and the people of Arcadia. However, the shadowy organization remains a threat, hinting at future adventures as the party continues to unravel mysteries lurking within the City of Light. Well, that's a possibility, AI.
Yeah.
Don't jump the
Mm-hmm.
gun here because we
Right.
can't
Right.
assume that that's the resolution that
Right.
every party is going to get, and most
Mm-hmm.
certainly not the resolution that our party would get.
No. No. No.
there's
No. The
there's no
the,
there's no
our
gratitude.
no, no. The city of light is in ruins.
The city,
The
yeah, the
pe-
city of light is now the city of darkness.
people are fleeing for their life.
Yeah,
It's kind
yeah.
of how that works. Yeah.
So there are a couple of problems because already my title, because it's supposed to like be one night, it's it's deviated a little bit from that, but that's not too bad. But it's very general. So like that's what it gave me. So it did give me some NPCs. It gave me some adventure hooks.
Yep.
It really gave me a good start, right?
Yeah. Which is really all you need.
I
Is just
mean,
a good start.
it's really all you need if you're really going to ad lib. But if you
Hmm.
need an adventure, I mean, if you need details. So I decided, okay, now if I start to ask clarifying questions and try and maybe I can really get down to the meat of things, and because it it kind of did what I asked it to, but it didn't really do what you know what I mean? So I asked it, describe the shadowy organization. So ChatGPT elaborates. The shadowy organization operating within Arcadia is known as the Eclipse Syndicate. Interesting because it's topical,
Hmm.
right?
Yep. Hmm.
I bet a lot of people were asking ChatGPT recently about the eclipse or talking about
Probably
eclipses.
so. Hmm. Yeah.
So, Eclipse Syndicate, veiled in secrecy and steeped in
But that all
clandestine.
but that's the thing though. It's like that also has another meaning because this is Arcadia, the city of light, and the shadowy organization is called the Eclipse.
Of course, right?
That's
Right.
very yeah, on
So
point.
interesting,
That's on
right? Yeah,
target. Yeah.
on target. Veiled in secrecy and steeped in clandestine dealings, the Eclipse Syndicate is a network of influential individuals, criminals, and corrupt officials who manipulate the city's affairs from the shadows. Key
Is this
features
Washington?
of the,
Is this Washington D.C.?
I mean, possibly. Uh, Key features of the Eclipse Syndicate include number one, hierarchy of power. The organization operates under a strict hierarchy with small circles of elite members at the top, controlling the syndicate's operations and making key decisions. Beneath them are various lieutenants, enforcers, and agents who carry out the syndicate's orders. Mysterious agenda. The true motives of the Eclipse Syndicate remain shrouded in mystery, with rumors and speculation running rampant through the city. Some believe they seek to amass wealth and power, while others whisper of darker ambitions, such as harnessing forbidden magic or consorting with otherworldly entities. Number three, influence and corruption. The Eclipse Syndicate exerts its influence over various aspects of Arcadian society, from politics and commerce to the criminal underworld, through bribery, coercion, blackmail. They ensure that their interests are protected and their enemies are silenced. 4. Secret operations. The syndicate operates through a network of hidden safe houses, clandestine meeting places, and underground tunnels, allowing them to conduct their illicit activities away from prying eyes. They are skilled at covering their tracks and eliminating anyone who threatens to expose their secrets. 5. Ruthless tactics. Members of the Eclipse Syndicate are not above using violence and intimidation to achieve their goals. They employ skilled assassins and forcers and spies to eliminate rivals and maintain their hold on power. 6. Symbolism of the eclipse. The organization's name and symbol, a stylized eclipse, reflect their penchant for secrecy and manipulation. Like the eclipse itself, they operate unseen until it is too late for their victims to escape their grasp. Unraveling the mysteries of the Eclipse Syndicate will require cunning, courage, and determination as the party delves deeper into the dark underbelly of Acadia's society to confront this shadowy threat.
This is like the world's shadow government people who talk
Yeah,
about the about that conspiracy. That's basically what this is. But I mean,
it's
it
still
gives you a
pretty
lot.
general.
It's given you a lot of information though.
It's still pretty general. So
Hmm.
here I ask a more specific question. Who are the members of the elite circle of the Eclipse Syndicate? Because I'm the dungeon master, right? So I
You
need to
need to know.
know who the members
Hmm.
are. The elite circle of the Eclipse Syndicate is comprised of a select group of influential and powerful individuals who wield considerable influence over the organization and the city of Arcadia. Here are some key members of the secretive inner circle. Lord Victor Blackwood, a cunning and charismatic nobleman. Lord Victor Blackwood is widely regarded as the de facto leader of the Eclipse Syndicate. He commands respect and fear in equal measure, using his wealth and connections to manipulate events to his advantage. Lady Morgana Darkwater. A mysterious and enigmatic figure, Lady Morgana Darkwater is rumored to possess occult knowledge and mystical powers. She serves as the Syndicate's chief strategist, orchestrating their operations with cold precision and calculated cunning. Master Thorn, a master of disguise and infiltration. Master Thorn is the Syndicate's spy master and intelligence chief. His network of spies and informants allows the Eclipse Syndicate to keep tabs on their enemies and maintain control over the city's underworld. Captain Silas Drake. A former captain of the city guard, Silas Drake betrayed his oaths and joined the Eclipse Syndicate, where he now serves as their chief enforcer. Enforcer, yeah, ruthless and efficient. Captain Drake ensures that dissenters are swiftly dealt with and that the Syndicate's will is enforced without question. The High Priestess, an enigmatic figure. All of these figures are enigmatic, by the way. Many
Yes, they are.
enigmatic figures. But I mean, it is the Eclipse Syndicate, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, yeah.
Shrouded in mystery, the High Priestess is the spiritual leader of the Eclipse Syndicate. Her connections to the city's temples and religious institutions give the Syndicate a veneer of legitimacy, while her true motives remain hidden from all but the most trusted members of the inner circle. These individuals form the core leadership of the Eclipse Syndicate, guiding its actions and shaping its destiny from the shadows. Their combined influence and power make them formidable adversaries for anyone daring to challenge the Syndicate's authority of the city. Okay, so you told me a lot, but this is
Hmm.
Dungeons and Dragons. So then I asked, can you provide me with BECMI NPC stats for each of the Elite Circle members, including class, level, HP, AC, weapons, and spells?
I like how
Certainly.
it says certainly, certainly. Here are the
Certainly.
BECMI NPC stats.
Got it
Certainly.
covered. Here are the BECMI NPC stats for each member of the Elite
Wait.
Circle of the Eclipse Syndicate. What's that?
I said, wait. It actually really did give you like actual stats.
Yes. So Lord Victor Blackwood, class noble. So it even like kind of made like an NPC class where it was like,
It
okay,
did.
it's a thief, but he's a noble. Level
Mhm.
9, it gave him 45 hit points. AC 4, so chainmail. That makes sense
Mhm.
though, because he's not like a thief. He's like a noble.
Right.
But he does
Right.
apparently does have some dagger
He has
longsword.
he's got some thiefy abilities there.
He's
Yeah.
got some thiefy abilities. It doesn't really go into it. It kind of glosses over this, but knowing that he's a thief, that's good enough for me. Lady
Mhm.
Morgana, magic user, right? We've got
Mhm.
unarmored,
Oh
makes
wow.
sense.
Yeah, it even gave her
Weapons
unarmored. Yeah.
relies on spells. It
Wow.
it like what? Right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm
That's
saying? Like
pretty.
I
Yeah.
I was
It's starting to get. Yeah.
I the it's doing some things that I was surprised by here.
Mhm.
I was like, okay, huh, right? So
And
Master Thorn,
even the spells are spells that are relevant to that person.
mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely it's pretty good. So
Mhm.
then, Master Thorn, thief, he's an assassin, of course. Again, the assassin class doesn't exist in BECMI. It
Mhm.
kind of knew that because he's the thief class, and it put
Mhm.
interesting that, you know, it's this is not quite right.
Yeah.
This is a little wonky right here, but that's something as an experienced dungeon master, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'll fix
Mhm.
it, right? But a lot of this is, it's
I mean, look at that. Look at Drake.
hmm
That's that's impressive right there.
yeah, I mean, and again, it gave him like the right stuff.
Mhm.
Obviously there's a lot more that there's the high priestess is gonna have a lot more spells and stuff, but even
Right.
it's like, okay. And then
And it
it
even says these stats should provide a good starting point for incorporating these characters into your BECMI campaign as the elite circle of the Ellipse Syndicate. Feel free to adjust them as needed to fit the specific challenges and encounters your players will face. I mean, that's uh
hmm
that's good right
yeah.
there.
So satisfied that it was able to give me NPC stats, I
Mhm.
turned back to the scenario, because earlier in the beginning, in the initial prompt, the answer to the initial prompt, it talked about Thaddeus Blackwood. And then
Mhm.
when I asked about the Elite Circle members, it brought up Lord Victor Blackwood.
Mhm.
So I was like, okay, that's weird. Is it going to resolve this? How's this going to work? So I asked it,
Right.
what is the relationship between Thaddeus and Lord Victor? Thaddeus Blackwood and Lord Victor Blackwood share a complex and secretive relationship within the Eclipse Syndicate. Thaddeus, a notorious figure rumored to be involved in the city's underground activities, operates on the fringes of the organization, conducting clandestine dealings and covert operations to further the syndicate's agenda. Lord Victor, on the other hand, holds a position of prominence within the elite circle of the Eclipse Syndicate, commanding respect and wielding considerable influence over the organization and the city of Arcadia. Despite their differing positions in the syndicate, Thaddeus and Lord Victor share a history that binds them together. It is whispered among the city's rumor mills that Thaddeus once served as a trusted lieutenant to Lord Victor, carrying out his orders with ruthless efficiency. However, as the power dynamics within the syndicates shifted and new players emerged, Thaddeus found himself sidelined and marginalized by Lord Victor's inner circle. Disillusioned and resentful, he struck out on his own, carving out a niche for himself in the city's underworld, while maintaining a tenuous alliance with the Eclipse Syndicate. Though their interactions may be infrequent and fraught with tension, Thaddeus and Lord Victor remain connected by a web of intrigue and mutual interest, each wary of the other's ambitions and schemes. Their relationship is one of cautious alliance, characterized by a delicate balance of power and secrecy within the shadowy world of Arcadia's underworld. Huh.
So
So
it's interesting. It didn't give a familial relationship like you thought, and I'm assuming that's what you were at. That's what you were going for.
that is what I was
But
going for.
it gave it didn't give you a familial relationship, but it gave you one one hell of a relationship though.
And it kept with the theme of the fact that when it introduced Thaddeus, it said that he was like a contact that the party would maybe, could maybe get some information
Right.
from. So it kind of kept
Hmm.
with that, and it kind of gives you the feeling, like for me as like a DM, it would kind of give me the feeling of, well, he's somebody that might be like, your the enemy of your enemy is your
Hmm.
sometimes
Right.
ally kind of guy, right?
Right.
He might
Right.
be
Hmm.
somebody that could be used by the party to turn, but also is not to be trusted. Interesting. So then I asked, because
Hmm.
like you said, I wanted to
Yeah.
know. And I was
Yeah.
surprised by the answer, but then I thought, oh, well, is there more to the story? So I asked, are they relatives? They share a surname. Yes, indeed. Thaddeus Blackwood and Lord Victor Blackwood are relatives. They are cousins born into the prestigious Blackwood family, one of the oldest and most influential noble houses in the city of Arcadia. Their familial connection adds an additional layer of complexity to their relationship within the Eclipse Syndicate. While they share blood ties and common lineage, their divergent paths within the organization have led to strained relations and a degree of rivalry between them. Despite their familial bonds, Thaddeus's decision to operate independently from Lord Victor's inner circle has created a rift between them, fueled by competing ambitions and conflicting loyalties within the syndicate. Their shared surname serves as a constant reminder of their intertwined destinies and the complex dynamics at play within the shadowy world of Arcadia's underworld.
Well, there you go. So
So I
let
was
me
like,
ask you this before we go too much further.
mm-hmm,
Let me ask you this: when you ask when you're asking this question, these questions, like this last question about
mm-hmm,
the familial relationship, how long did it take ChatGPT to come up with that?
instantly.
Really?
Oh, excuse me. Instantly. Sorry.
Really? So like
Yeah.
just it just popped it right out. It just shot it right out.
Yeah. 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 I was literally laying in bed on my phone doing this.
Okay.
And it was giving, I mean, immediately I was getting the
Wow.
answer. There was no lag. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Pretty
So
wild.
so it didn't even have to think about it. I mean, it
No,
thought it
no.
thought about
No,
it
no,
thought about it in.
it's not like when you're generating an AI image
Hmm.
and it kind of has some take some time to process. No, it processes that like immediately.
Okay.
So then I'm like, okay, I'm just again like I'm just sitting on my phone, just I'm experimenting at this point. Well, what
Hmm.
can I do
Yeah.
here? So, what is the outward public appearance of the Blackwood family? Because now I'm interested in the Blackwoods because obviously
Okay.
they're into
Right.
this here.
They're a big part of
Mhm.
this. Yeah.
Big part of this here thing. So the Blackwood family
Holy
cult.
shit.
What?
Like you scrolled up and I just like holy shit.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's like
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so they're like, it tells me refinement, prosperity in the public eye, right? Right. Key aspects of the Blackwoods family outward public
right.
appearance include prestigious lineage, right? Okay, so we kind
Hmm.
of know that. Wealth and opulence, okay, kind of
Yeah.
it gives us more information, social
Mhm.
standing, philanthropy, and patronage. Okay, so they are philanthropists. Makes sense. Patron
Yeah.
of the
Mhm.
arts, sciences, charitable endeavors. So they have
Mhm.
outwardly, they have
Outwardly, they're
a celebrity appearance. The
yeah.
Blackwoods wield considerable political influence, of course, behind the scenes. We know that.
Mhm.
All right. Overall, the outward public appearance of the Blackwood family exudes an aura of aristocratic privilege, sophistication, and power, masking the darker secrets and intrigues that lurk between or beneath the surface of their esteemed facade.
Mhm.
So I'm like, what business are they in? Again, I'm just typing them. I'm just like seeing what it tells me.
Right.
The Blackwood family is primarily involved with several lucrative business ventures that contribute to their wealth and influence within Arcadia. And then it goes on to list trade and
All of
commerce,
it.
real
Yeah.
estate and property. And I'm like, okay, obviously this makes sense. Like
Mhm.
you said in the beginning, is this, like Washington D.C. elite? Like, is
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Right, banking and finance. Is there something you're trying to tell us, Chat GPT? Ah,
Hmm.
right. And of course, influence and espionage, because you can't forget that. So all of the
Right.
things, right? Then I'm like, okay, give me more information on the High Priestess, because it didn't really give me a lot on the High Priestess, and
Right.
she's the High
Mhm.
Priestess, right? So High Priestess is a mysterious and enigmatic, of course, enigmatic. Wonder how many
Yes.
times enigmatic appears in this whole thread here. Spiritual leader, okay, yes, yes. Here are some additional details about the High Priestess. Mystical authority. The High Priestess is believed to possess esoteric knowledge and mystical powers, which she uses to inspire devotion among members of the Eclipse Syndicate. Her exact abilities and source of her power are the subject of speculation and rumor, like everything else, with some whisperings
Mhm.
that she has made pacts with dark forces or tapped into forbidden magics. So we got symbol of faith,
Mhm.
she's a cult of personality, all the things that a high priestess.
Yeah.
Again, this is still pretty generic stuff, but it gives a flavor,
Right.
right? So then I ask, what is the true reason that the Eclipse Syndicate is kidnapping people? So then it
Oh,
actually
Jesus.
gives yeah, so then it actually gives me a couple of things.
Oh my God.
I don't
ChatGPT just went down. They just went down the hole at
I
that
know.
point. Boy, it's it's
What's
like
really funny is that there's a little I noticed that there's a little like double
asterisk.
asterisk here, and I never got any explanation for that. I didn't ask, but I'm wondering if it like triggered something.
You're on you're on a list now,
On a
Dungeon.
list now, yeah.
DM Steve, you're on a list.
So this is
Of
interesting.
Six in the Dark has been on the
It's
list
already on a
before.
list, of course. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
This is interesting because then it gives me like
Soul Harvest.
a a couple of different things. Like
Right.
it's like, okay, so here you choose. So, ritualistic sacrifice. The Syndicate believes in dark and ancient rituals that require the sacrifice of innocent souls to appease malevolent entities or to harness forbidden powers. These rituals may be intended to unlock arcane secrets, gain otherworldly favors, or achieve immortality for Syndicate's men. So that's pretty broad, but I'm
Right.
narrowing it down more, you know. Then it says soul harvesting, of course,
Mhm. Right, of
obviously,
course.
right? And experiment in augmentation. Okay,
Mhm.
interesting. Cultivation of
This
fear and control.
number 4 is like really, really like that's evil. is
It's
what that
really evil. It is.
number
It is.
number 4 is probably the most evil out of everything right there.
Right?
We're
ChatGPT
just
came
gonna
up with this on its own, by the way. The syndicate may be kidnapping people to sow fear and discord within Arcadian society, keeping the
yeah.
populace in a state of terror and uncertainty while consolidating their power and influence. By controlling the flow of information and manipulating public perception. Oh my goodness. They maintain a
Wow.
grip on the city's political and economic affairs. Again, are you
Oh
trying to
my
tell us
god.
something, ChatGPT?
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
Servitude
Social
to dark
commentary.
forces is that's pretty
Yeah,
pretty normal.
that's D&D, yeah.
That's D&D. You know, unraveling the true reason behind the syndicate's kidnappings will require the party. It always kind of gives this little like summary.
Mhm.
It I
Right.
feel it feels like do you remember in like middle school when they were teaching you how to write papers?
Right.
It would like
Mhm.
and you were first learning and you had to have like a subject paragraph and then like three
Mhm.
body paragraphs and then like a closing paragraph that like
Right.
summarizes the whole. Do you remember that?
Yep. Mhm.
ChatGPT sometimes feels like that to me
That's
because it gives
probably
this
how it
little
was
like
yeah.
summary at the end and it
Yeah.
just and it's like I didn't need that summary, but okay. Like,
Mhm.
all right. So then I go on and I
Oh
say,
god.
yeah,
Oh
because
my
I'm
god.
like, what can it do? I'm like, what is it gonna give me? So I ask it to create a dozen NPC personalities for the characters to question. Describe each of their personalities. Explain each one's. And I even kind of fucked up because I said explain each one's their link to the disappearances and to other NPCs. Describe with what information each one has that might lead to the players to the Eclipse Syndicate. So then it said, here are a dozen NPC personalities for characters to question, along with their personalities, links to to the disappearances and the connection to the syndicate. So it gives me
Okay.
Geraldine, the tavern owner, a warm and motherly. So it gives me a personality, warm and motherly, with a sharp wit,
Right.
no
Mhm.
nonsense attitude. I can play as a DM. That's enough for me, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm
that's
good.
all you need.
I
Yeah.
Geraldine.
Mhm.
I got Geraldine. Linked to the disappearance, of course. She knows gossip and rumor. She's the tavern
Mhm.
owner, right? That makes sense. Connections to the Eclipse Syndicate. Unknowingly provides a meeting place for the members. Okay.
Mhm.
Overhears
Right.
conversations about disappearances, but fears reprisal. That's good. That's enough
Yeah.
for me.
That's yeah. Mhm.
That's totally
That's
enough
actually
for
a
me,
that's actually pretty fleshed out for an
right?
NPC. Mhm.
I mean, for just some character that you may never ever talk to again, right? You don't want to put too much
Mhm.
into these characters.
Yeah.
It's just
Mhm.
enough, in my opinion. So I
Mhm.
was impressed. I mean, they're pretty general, but like they're workable. So we got
Mhm.
Finn, of course, the street urchin,
Yeah.
right? Street smart, resourceful, a mischievous streak and a knack for getting into trouble. Okay, I know who Finn is, right?
Yeah. That's easy.
Obviously,
Yeah.
he's an urchin. He's sees stuff in the alleyways.
Mhm.
Maybe acts as a lookout for syndicate operatives. Okay, here's
Yeah, because
snippets of
he's a street
conversations.
urchin. He makes money. You
He
know.
makes he
Here.
makes a
Yeah.
copper. Here's a copper, kid. Do
Mhm. Yeah.
watch
Make
out
make
over
sure
here.
make sure nobody comes down this way. Here's a
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So we got Madame Isadora, the fortune teller. She's also
Mhm.
mysterious and enigmatic. It's our favorite word here.
Yes. Yes, it
Um,
is.
of course, a
Captain
flair for the
Marcus.
dramatic, speaking in riddle. Okay,
Mhm.
yes, she's a fortune teller. Of course, she has glimpses of dark, foreboding, forebodings in her
Mhm.
crystal. Obviously, so yeah, we have a couple of things here. I think this is maybe one of the places where it it gave me a weird thing that I didn't notice when I was doing it, but I noticed later because it already gave me a captain of the city guard who is not Marcus.
Right. But then it gives you a new captain of the city guard.
So then it gives me a new captain of the city guard. So at this point, what I could actually do is I could alive ask it, hey, what's the deal here? I'm not going to do it just yet, but it is one of the things. So it's it's keeping track, but at the same time, mm,
Yeah. Mhm.
and it's gonna do this again. But I am gonna catch it, and then I'm gonna ask it about it, and then it's gonna resolve it
Mhm.
in a kind of an interesting way. So we get some more people, and again we've got a socialite, okay, of course, you
Mhm.
know,
A black your blacksmith.
the blacksmith. Obviously, he repairs weapons.
Mhm.
He's an unknowingly supply. Of course, he does. He's the blacksmith.
And
You
and
know.
and it seems like they all occasionally overhear conversations about illicit activities
Of course,
wherever they
yeah.
are.
Which that's
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
but of course they do because they're connected in some way,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
You've each of them the links, even if some of the stuff is kind of repeated. There's
Yeah.
I still feel like there's gold here. There's enough
Mhm.
that it's like there's at least silver, right? There's
Yeah.
enough that like
Yeah.
again as a DM I can be like, "Oh, Sister Miriam, that's cool. I can I'm s-
Mhm.
I got it." Right?
Number
Harrison the
9 number
merchant.
9 is very number 9 is very interesting. That's an interesting choice of name there.
Yeah, with some of the names and with some of the things like with Drake and stuff, I kind of wonder like is and Arcadia because like, I'm I think I'm logged in under my Phantom Harlock.
Mhm.
Like ChatGPT.
Right.
ChatGPT. Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yep.
You are a thing.
Yes.
Weird.
Mhm.
Creepy.
Yep. Mhm.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, but anyway, so it gives me a dozen
Yeah. Yeah, it does.
NPCs that work, and it's again I didn't have to do anything really to get
Mhm.
these.
Yeah.
Right. So then it gives me my little summary at the end. I didn't need
Yeah,
that.
of course. Mhm.
So then I thought, well, here we go. Let me ask it
Okay.
something. Let me see what we can do here. I asked it to create 3 unique and horrifying monsters that could be under the control of the Eclipse Syndicate in the BECMI format, including for each. And I made sure specifically to outline it because I really wanted to see if it could do it justice. So actually like listed all the stuff that I wanted.
Right. Okay.
And then it says, here are 3 unique and horrifying monsters under the control of the Eclipse Syndicate formatted for BECMI. So it gives me a
And
Nightmare Weaver.
oh, Jesus.
So armor class 4, hit dice 8. It's kind of a beast.
Mhm.
2 claw, 1 bite. Damage is right. Number appearing. Save is fighter. We got morale. Treasure type, no treasure. Oof.
Wow.
Chaotic evil. Decent experience. The
Mhm.
Nightmare Weavers are grotesque creatures born from the darkest depths of the Dreamlands, summoned forth by the Eclipse Syndicate to terrorize their enemies. Standing over 10 feet tall, they
Jesus
possess
Christ.
sinewy, elongated bodies covered in mottled black fur. Their elongated limbs end in razor-sharp claws, and their heads resemble a twisted amalgamation of a feline and with an insectoid features. What?
What the hell?
With glowing red eyes and rows of needle-like teeth. Nightmare weavers are adept at weaving illusions and feeding off the fears of their victims, trapping them in a never-ending cycle of nightmares to which there is no escape. But then it doesn't elaborate that on that. but we'll get back
Mhm.
to it. So then we
Okay.
got a Soul Devourer. So we got some more stuff.
Mhm.
It kind of makes sense that they would have no treasure type if all these things are kind of these summoned abominations.
Right. Mhm.
But yeah, again, it gives me it actually gives me creatures.
And Eclipse Shadow Fiend. Wow.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. So then cuz then I'm like, okay, well it didn't give me everything. So I ask it to describe the Nightmare Weaver's illusion ability in terms of BECMI rules.
Okay.
In BECMI terms, the
Oh
Nightmare
shit.
Weaver's illusion ability can be described as follows. Illusion ability. The Nightmare Weaver can create powerful illusions that manipulate the minds of its victims, trapping them in a nightmarish realm of fear and despair. Effect. Once per encounter,
What? Oh, okay.
once per
Once per
encounter,
encounter. Okay.
yeah, which is
Okay.
probably good, right?
Yeah, that's really
Once per
good. Yeah.
encounter, the Nightmare Weaver can cast an illusion spell that affects all creatures
Jesus.
within a 30-foot radius. This illusion creates a terrifying dreamscape tailored to the deepest fears of each individual affected. Save the creatures within the radius of the illusion are allowed a saving throw versus spells to disbelieve the illusion and break free from its effects. Those who fail their saving throw are ensnared by the illusion and suffer the psychological effects of their worst nightmares.
Jesus.
The illusion lasts for a number of rounds equal to the Nightmare Weaver's hit dice,
Jesus
which is
Christ.
10, by the way.
Right. Right.
During which time the affected creatures are incapacitated by fear and confusion, unable to take any actions other than to cower in terror or flee from their perceived threats. Consequences. While the illusion does not cause physical harm, the psychological trauma inflicted upon its victims can have lasting effects, potentially causing madness or psychological scars that linger long after the illusion has dissipated.
Jesus Christ.
Countermeasures. Dispelling magic or effects that disrupt illusions can dispel the Nightmare Weaver's illusions prematurely. Additionally, spells or abilities that provide protection from fear or mind affecting effects can bolster the creature's resistance to the nightmare. That's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Yeah. That
There
that's mhm.
there are things that I would change about that, but that's pretty good.
Mhm. That is a beast though.
That's a crazy beast. It
That is a
is.
crazy ass beast. That beast is not going to be showing up in the Planescape, is it?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. You'll have to stay tuned. Have to retool a little bit for Castles and Crusades, but that's okay. That could be done. And then I think I asked it. Oh yes, because the Eclipse Shadow Fiend, it talked about a weakness to light, but it
Mhm.
didn't. It didn't elaborate. So again, I
Okay.
asked it to describe that in BECMI rule terms. In BECMI rule
Mhm.
terms, Eclipse Shadow Fiends do indeed have a weakness to light, which can be described as follows: are creatures born from the shadows, and as such, they are vulnerable to the purifying effects of light. Exposure to bright light sources weaken their shadowy forms and sap their strengths, making them easier to defeat. And then it actually gave me mechanical effects to light.
I see that. Yeah.
Like, okay,
Mhm.
all
Wow.
right. Like,
Mhm.
yeah. I'm like, okay, that's again, it's
It's giving
not
you the things. Yeah.
it's not 100% perfect, but it's like it's enough that like it
Mhm.
easily with barely any work at all, I can kind of fix it up to
Yeah.
be right.
Mhm.
So then I thought, well, those monsters are really tough.
Yes.
So now create four more unique monsters that could be under the control of the Eclipse Syndicate in the BECMI format, including, and I just recopied that just to make sure. And then
Mhm.
I said, except this time make them weaker, 1 to 5 hit dice. So then it just it made me a
Did that.
Shadowling, made
Uh-huh.
me a Dusk Crawler,
Wow.
made me an Umbral Stalker,
Wow.
and it
Okay.
made me a Shade Whisperer. All cool names.
and all very very topical to the Eclipse Syndicate and to the thing itself,
And to
to
the
the whole game
theme of
itself.
the whole game and everything.
Mhm.
Everything is staying on point, on theme.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, and again, with each one of these things, I'm sure I could ask it, okay, give me, if I needed a little bit more
Yeah.
information, but the
Mhm.
weaker ones don't have, obviously aren't as they're weak, right?
Right.
So then satisfied by that, I said, tell me about some of the other victims of kidnapping by the Eclipse Syndicate other than Adriana. Because, well, it told me before that there were multiple victims. So
Right.
we got to get some victims. So certainly, so here we have more kidnapping victims.
Mhm.
A wealthy merchant, a prominent socialite, a renowned scholar. We've got a talented artisan, a promising apprentice, and links to
Yeah.
the syndicate, why they might have been kidnapped.
Mhm.
So now we've got some, and again, all of those things, again, for me as a DM, I wouldn't want to go. I'd probably ad lib a lot. I wouldn't want to go too far into
Right.
each one of them because again, they're not the person that you're looking for, and who knows how much you're going to even delve into that person's
Right.
disappearance, right?
Right. Mhm.
You might get really interested in one, but not interested in any of the others.
Right. Right.
So so interesting. It again, it's giving me more. So then before, right, I had asked why it was kidnapping people, and it
Mhm.
gave me a list of things. And I thought, well, I didn't go with the really dark one. the really, I thought, soul harvesting. That's pretty D&D. So I asked it to expand upon the idea that the kidnapping are taking place for soul harvesting. Doesn't seem to care about my little mistakes.
Yeah. I think
It's
it's
smarter than
programmed to
that
deal
now.
with.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
So the notion that the kidnappings are orchestrated for the purposes of soul harvesting adds a chilling and sinister dimension to the activities of the Eclipse Syndicate. Here's how this concept can be expanded upon. So then,
That's that is a dark sentence followed by a very very like
yeah,
chipper
right.
sentence.
So I mean, and then it kind of it expands in a similar
Mhm.
way that it's expanded before on the
Right.
because it's already talked about kind of the possibilities of the what the syndicate could be after. So it kind of expands in the same way. So I'm kind of like, okay, yeah,
No,
unholy relics.
number four though is just totally terrible. My God, like that's just like.
I mean, these people could be pretty awful.
Hmm.
ChatGPT wants to give you some villains, man. They making
And
some
it does.
villainous villains,
Hmm.
right? Unholy relics, I think that's kind of new. Okay, that's
Hmm.
interesting. Eternal torment.
Jesus Christ. They become fuel for the fires of damnation, their agonizing screams echoing through the halls of the infernal realm as they are subjected to unspeakable horrors for all eternity. Good Lord, ChatGPT.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah, yeah.
it it just went there.
Good
Boy,
stuff.
oh boy. So this is a great place to stop and just remind people that ChatGPT is the kind of AI that is learning from everything else. So here it is, boys. This is
Mhm.
what it's learning. We're gonna see Skynet in 20 years because boy, oh boy.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
all we're all going to be fuel for the fires of damnation, agonize with agonizing screams echoing through the halls of
Mhm.
the infernal realm as we are subjected to unspeakable horrors for all eternity.
It and then it says expanding upon the idea of soul harvesting adds a sense of existential dread and moral ambiguity. Really? I don't think there's any
Jesus
moral
Christ.
ambiguity to the conflict, as players are forced to confront the true depths of depravity and malevolence lurking within its
My
truly
God.
depraved. Okay,
Hmm.
so then next, I decided that
Oh
because
God.
it talked about, yeah, where was it, somewhere up here, and it's at some point it talked about soulless
Corruption.
husks.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
corruption and decay part.
yeah. So so I said, provide me with the BECMI monster stats for the soulless husks that remain once the victim's souls are drained in the same format. So this time I didn't give it the format.
Yeah.
I just said in the
Hmm.
same format you previously have used, make them fairly weak, but give them an interesting special ability. Can they be mistaken for their former selves? Is there a way to tell the difference? Here is a BECMI monster stats for the Soulless Husk, along with an interesting special ability. Soulless Husk. Okay.
So it did it. Okay. Yeah. So
So
it
armor
did it.
class 9, that's perfect. Hit dice 1 plus 1. Okay. One
Not
claw,
bad.
1d4. This is not bad. Fighter 1, this all of this makes sense.
Hmm.
Soulless husks have the ability to mimic the appearance and mannerisms of their former selves for a short period of time. They can replicate the voices and gestures of their victims, allowing them to deceive others into believing that they are still alive. However, their eyes betray their true nature, as they lack a spark of life and instead glow with a faint, unnatural light. Description: Soulless
That is
husks
dark.
are twisted remnants of those of whose souls they have been harvested by the Eclipse Syndicate. Once vibrant and full of life, they have been reduced to hollow shells, their bodies animated by dark magic and driven by relentless hunger for the souls of the living. Despite their weakened state, they are still formidable adversaries, capable of moving with surprising speed and ferocity in their quest to fulfill the desires of
Dude.
their dark masters.
Dude. Do you know what those two paragraphs describe?
Hmm.
The vampires from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's what those two paragraphs describe.
Hmm. That's funny. Mistaken identity. Soulless husks can indeed be mistaken for their former selves, especially from a distance or in dim lighting conditions. Their ability to mimic the appearance and mannerisms of their victims makes it difficult to discern their true nature until it's too late. However, keen observers may notice subtle differences, such as the absence of a heartbeat or an unnatural glow of their eyes, which will betray their undead nature. There are several ways to tell the difference between a soulless husk and its former self. Magical detection. Spells or the
Hmm?
abilities to detect undead or reveal illusions can reveal the true nature. I'm like, okay, that's
Wow, damn.
right. That works. Divine intervention.
Yes.
Clerics or paladins with a strong connection to the divine may sense the presence of
Hmm.
undeath and evil within the soulless husk. Physical examination. The close inspection of a creature may reveal signs of decay or corruption that are not present in the living being, such as pallid skin or the smell of death. Behavioral clues. Soulless husks may exhibit unnatural behavior or reactions that give away their true nature, such as a lack of emotional response or inability to engage in meaningful conversation. Despite the ability to mimic the living, soulless husks are the ultimate twisted abominations driven by the dark and insatiable hunger for souls of the living and serving as grim reminders of the horrors inflicted by the Eclipse
Jesus
Syndicate.
Christ. Dude, but a soulless husk is literally a vampire from Buffy. That I mean, that's exactly what it is. It
Yeah,
describes those vampires
it doesn't have a
pretty
bite, but
accurately.
yeah.
Yeah,
But you're
it doesn't
right.
have a bite, but I mean,
But
it
it's
describes them pretty
close.
accurately there.
It's close. It's close.
Hmm.
So
It's
I was
crazy.
I was yeah, another thing that kind of impressed me. So then I think I changed gears here and I said expand on the character of Lady cuz again, the initial
Right.
hook was Lady Evangeline.
Mm-hmm.
Give more details about her family. What is her surname? Does Adriana still have a living father? If not, does Evangeline have a love interest? So here's where
Okay.
it did something that I was not expecting it to do.
Okay.
Lady
Oh
Evangeline
fuck.
Blackwood. Oh,
Oh
ChatGPT,
my
you
god.
fucking what the hell? All right. So now I'm like, okay, what is happening?
Yeah.
So
What
Lady
the hell?
Evangeline is a complex character with deep ties to the City of Light and the machinations of the Eclipse Syndicate. Here's an expanded description of her character and connections. So we got Blackwood, family background. Hails from
Oh
one of the
god.
oldest and most prestigious. What?
I'm already ahead of you, dude.
Oh
I'm,
yeah,
I'm already
yeah,
I'm already
yeah.
down there. I'm already there. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah,
God damn it.
you've already gotten to Lady Evangeline's father, Lord Victor
Lord Victor.
Blackwood, is the current patriarch of the family and a powerful figure in the city's political and economic circles. He is a shrewd and ambitious man who will stop at nothing to further the interests of his family and maintain. Oh my goodness. So yeah, surname is a
Wow.
family. The Blackwood
Wow.
family is indeed Blackwood. Like it's given me like a revelation. When I read that, I'm like, why you? What?
Oh my god.
So funny. So then we have okay, Adriana's father. Adriana's father,
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a
Alexander.
minute. Hold on. I just read that I just read that paragraph a lot faster than you were
Hmm.
reading it out loud, and what the
Obviously.
hell? So it's not her real daughter?
Yeah, yeah, no. Hang on. Exactly. That's what I'm like, okay.
What the
And
hell?
now I'm like is it just going to give me like conflicting shit, right? This is
Mhm.
what I'm thinking as I'm reading this at
Right.
this point, right? Because it says presumed tragic accident several years ago. His untimely death left Adriana orphaned and vulnerable, leading her to seek refuge with her close friend, Lady Evangeline, and her family. Despite his absence, Alexander's memory looms large in Adriana's life, serving as a guiding influence and source of strength as she navigates the challenges of her newfound role as a member of the Blackwood household. All right. So then it gives me a little bit more shit. A little bit more information. Love interest, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, there's it doesn't it kind of glosses
Yeah,
over
it's
that. It
just
doesn't give me a
yeah.
real love interest. I'm
Right.
sure if I asked it for more, it would give me some more. So we get to the end here. I'm like, so Adriana is not Evangeline's biological child? She's adopted? Because I'm like,
Right.
what are you doing to me,
Right.
ChatGPT? It's like a soap opera. I'm hooked,
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is like General Hospital. What's
right?
going on?
Yeah, like what's happening here? Yes, that's correct. Adriana is not Lady Evangeline's biological child. She is adopted after Adriana's father, Alexander, tragically passed away. Lady Evangeline and her family took Adriana under their wing and provided her with a home and support. Despite not being related by blood, Lady Evangeline cares deeply for Adriana and considers her to be a cherished member of the Blackwood family. Their strong bond is forged through shared experiences and mutual affection, and Adriana looks up to as a mentor and surrogate mother figure. Her relationship adds depth and complexity to both characters, illustrating the power of found family and the strength that can be derived from unconditional love and support. So then I'm like, okay, how
Here we
was
go.
Adriana how old was Adriana when she was adopted, and how old when she was kidnapped? Because I'm like, let's get a
Mhm.
timeline here. Because because that's
Right.
important, right?
And
Adriana
boy, oh
was a
boy, this just makes Victor to be just more fucking
Oh
evil than
yeah,
ever.
like he's like the worst ever. Definitely. So Adriana was adopted by Lady Evangeline and her family at a young age, shortly after the tragic death of her father. She was around 10 years old at the time of her adoption, still a child in need of care and guidance. Lady Evangeline took Adriana into her home and provided her with loving support supportive environment, helping her to heal from the trauma of losing her father and adjusting to her new life as a member of the Blackwood family. Adriana was kidnapped by the Eclipse Syndicate several years later when she was around 16 years old. The details surrounding her abduction are shrouded in mystery, but it is clear that she was targeted by the Syndicate for reasons unknown. Her disappearance sent shockwaves through the City of Light, leaving her family and friends devastated and desperate for answers. Now Adriana's fate hangs in the balance as Lady Evangeline and her allies race against time to rescue her from the clutches of darkness and bring her home safely once more.
Oh,
So
dude.
then I'm like,
God Almighty.
could Adriana be the ultimate harvest for I'm just like let me just like throw
Yeah.
it out there now here cuz
Yeah.
we're we're into the thick of things. Could Adriana be
Hmm.
the ultimate harvest for the Eclipse Syndicate? The final soul for a ritual, a final ritual, one for which preparations must be made. Is it possible that there's a deeper connection to Adriana or her family that makes her special? And ChatGPT said yes. Of course.
Damn.
It's entirely
Of
possible
course
to
it is.
weave Adriana into the narrative as the ultimate harvest for the Eclipse Syndicate, serving as a centerpiece of a final nefarious ritual that requires extensive preparations. Here's how Adriana's character could be tied to a deeper connection with the Syndicate and her family. Special bloodline. So, of course, obviously, special
Hmm. Yeah.
bloodline. Prophecy or prophesized role, of course
Hmm.
unbeknownst power or abilities. Maybe she's
Okay.
special, right?
Hmm.
Secret knowledge or artifact. All right. Yeah. And then
So
it gives.
let me ask you this. So did you
Hmm.
ask Chet, because she was adopted because her father died,
Hmm.
but did you ask Chat GPT about her mother?
Did I? I don't think I did. Because here I expand, but I think I do. I ask about I don't know. Maybe I can't remember how this all plays out exactly.
Okay.
So I asked it to expand on is what I meant. Adriana having a
Hmm.
special bloodline. And it gave me the bloodline of
Oh
arcane
God.
heirs.
Jesus Christ.
Adriana belongs to a lineage known as the
I'm sorry.
bloodline of arcane heirs,
I'm,
an
I'm
ancient
sorry.
and
Right
powerful
there,
family.
the bloodline of the arcane heirs is a goddamn RPG module all to itself right
Yes,
there.
it is. Yes, it is. Right, right.
My God.
Right. An ancient and powerful family with ties to the origins of magic in the City of Light. So in the
My
city of
God.
Arcadia, they're tied to the right. Of course. I mean,
Hmm.
obviously. Legends speak of
Yeah.
the first members of the bloodline being blessed by the city's mystical ley lines, imbuing them with unparalleled magical potential and marking them as the chosen guardians of Arcadia's arcane secrets. Ancestral guardians. Throughout the century, members of the bloodline of the arcane heirs have served as protectors and custodians of the city's magical heritage, wielding their powers to maintain balance and order in a world teetering on the brink of chaos. They are revered as saviors and saints by the people of Arcadia, their
Oh
names
God.
whispered in awe and reverence by those who seek their blessing and protection.
Jesus.
Dark legacy. However, beneath the veneer of nobility and honor lies a darker truth about the bloodline's legacy. Over the centuries, a shadowy cabal known as the Eclipse Syndicate has sought to manipulate and exploit the powers of the bloodline of the arcane heirs for their own nefarious purposes. They believe that by harnessing the bloodline's magic, they can unlock the secrets of immortality and ascend to godhood, ruling over Arcadia with an iron fist. Adriana's role. Adriana's lineage as a descendant of the bloodline of arcane heirs marks her as a key figure in the Syndicate's plans. Her blood carries an ancient magic of her ancestors, making her a potent vessel for channeling dark energies and unlocking forbidden powers. The Syndicate sees her as the ultimate prize, the key to unlocking the potential of their final ritual and achieving their twisted ambitions. Final ritual. The final ritual requires the blood of a true descendant of the bloodline of arcane heirs to be completed. Adriana's abduction is not merely a random act of violence, but a carefully orchestrated scheme to capture the last remaining heir and fulfill the Syndicate's dark prophecy as the chosen one. Adriana's fate hangs in the balance, her blood the catalyst for either salvation or damnation for the City of Light and all who dwell in its shadowy streets.
God.
So then I say,
So so I'm sorry. You wanted this to be a one shot?
yeah, I know. It went crazy. It's like a full campaign,
Oh, it is.
but it still could be a one shot. Like you could totally narrow it down into a one shot that could lead into a further campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like. So then I'm like, I'm going with the logical thing here
Right.
from the information.
Did was
Did
Victor
did Vic
evil
do
and
it?
do the whole thing?
Right? Did Vic
Did,
do it?
yeah, did
Right?
Victor
Is
do
he
the thing? Right.
responsible for the accident that killed
Yeah.
Adriana's father?
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
did he orchestrate this
So
whole thing?
ChatGP is probably more than happy to tell you.
Yeah. Introducing the possibility that Victor Blackwood is responsible for the accident that killed Adriana's father and orchestrating Adriana's adoption by Evangeline adds layers of intrigue and betrayal to the narrative. Here's how this twist could unfold. The tragic incident. He was a thorn in Victor's side, a rival merchant with ambitions that threatened to overshadow the Blackwoods' influence in the City of Light. In a bid to eliminate his competition and solidify his hold on power, Victor orchestrated a tragic incident that claimed his life, leaving Adriana orchestrated vulnerable to manipulation. He has a calculated scheme. And then the final piece. So Adriana's 16th birthday approaching because of course it's her 16th birthday. Because I keyed
Yeah,
in
of
on
course.
that too, right? That
Mm-hmm.
she was
Yeah, yeah.
16 when she was kid. I
Uh-huh.
was like,
Yeah.
you
That's
know,
the age.
that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
age, right? Like ChatGPT is it's gone through every
Mm-hmm.
all the media and it knows that
Mm-hmm.
16 is the age that people get sacrificed or,
Yeah, pretty much.
become mutants or well, whatever it is that
Mm-hmm.
happens,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah. So obviously it kind of gives a little bit more. I'm like, okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That gave me a little bit. That's fine. And I think that's yeah, that was it. That was the my kind of
Damn.
final thing.
Damn.
That was where I was like, okay,
That's crazy.
enough for right now.
That is crazy.
I feel like if I took all of this information and I edited out, sorry, and I edited out all of the superfluous crap. And I
Right.
edited out anything and I just kind of deleted, just kind of went through and been like, okay, okay, I don't need that paragraph. I don't need that paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of collated it. I sat and did this on my phone in bed
Mm-hmm.
in in a matter of like minutes, really. I mean, for as much time as it kind of took me to like type out the things and think of the things.
Right. Right. So maybe 30 minutes total.
With like very low effort and I was very tired when I
Mm-hmm.
did this. I was like getting ready to go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty wild.
It is pretty wild. So
Pretty wild.
I think I think the answer to the question, can AI create a BECMI one-shot campaign with a few prompts? Yeah, it can.
I mean, it was just
It
supposed to make me an
it comes
adventure, and
it
it
comes
really,
close.
yeah,
Yeah.
it really gave me a lot of information. It's not perfect. I mean, there's definitely editing to be done. There's a lot of
Mhm.
kind of like choices for you. You know, it kind of gave me a lot
Mhm.
of, and then, but
Mhm.
if I asked it to hone in on something, it did a pretty good job,
Mhm.
and
So let it so
it
let's
brought
do
things
let's do
together,
Mhm.
which
So
really surprised me
how many days ago was this?
yesterday.
Okay. So do you have the ability to message ChatGPT right now live?
Yeah, like we're in it.
Okay.
Like we're
Ask
in
it
this
about
thing.
Adrian. I just want to see. Ask it about Adriana's mother. Let's find out about Adriana's mother. Let's see what it does. Why not? We have it. Let's go for it. You might want to say biological. No,
Uh,
that's definitely not right.
my I've like I
Yeah.
biologic I
DM
oh
Steve needs new glasses.
it no my camera position kind of blocks
Ah.
my screen a little bit.
Oh, I see. I see. I gotcha.
So, yeah, it's so that I can read directly into the screen and be looking
Mm.
directly at the camera.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
gotcha.
it's the positioning is a little weird for there. So
Hmm.
I was trying to
I
read it
gotcha.
on the other screen, but it was really small. I'm not so special after all. Um,
Hmm. Mother.
logical mother. Oh,
That's all we really need.
yeah,
Just a
here.
very simple statement. Let's see what happens. Wow, that is fast. Holy shit.
Yeah, so this is basically what as fast as
Wow.
it can type it. So, yeah, all right.
Holy
So,
crap.
all right. So what did it tell us? Adriana's biological mother remains a mysterious figure whose identity and whereabouts are shrouded in secret. Of course, everything is shrouded in secrecy
Yes. Hmm.
in Arcadia. Here's an exploration of possible details about her. So,
So it's gonna
as a
give
woman of,
you. It's gonna
it's gonna
give. Yeah. It's gonna give you options.
it's going to
Yeah.
give me options. Woman of unknown origin, tragic fate, met with a tragic fate. You know, see, her father's death already left her orphaned and alone.
Hmm.
Let's see, connection to the bloodline. Despite the lack of information about her mother, Adriana's lineage is believed to be traced back to the bloodline of arcane heirs, a powerful family with ties to the origins of magic in the City of Light. It is through her mother's blood, so yeah, so you could do
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Legacy of
Because it actually did.
Power.
Because actually it did not say that it was through her father's bloodline.
It did not. You're right.
Yeah.
So we have a little bit
Hmm.
more. So I could even say damn it. Idea that Adriana's biological mother. How I want to say that.
Just go up to it. Copy is believed. So Yeah,
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah,
believed to
yeah.
trace back to the blood. Yeah, just copy is believed to trace back to the bloodline of the arcane heirs.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's probably what I want to do.
Yeah,
So here we go.
just going for it.
Hmm.
Just going for it is wow. I mean, that really is quick.
Yeah. Let's see.
Mm-hmm. Inherited power, targeted bloodline, guardianship. As the last living descendant of the bloodline of the arcane heirs, Adriana becomes a beacon of hope. Okay, so we knew that. Okay.
Okay, now, so because sometimes in here I'm like reading some of this stuff. All right, yeah, 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 yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get a little thing like this. So under in this one right here, guardianship and protection. What I found interesting is so this one says becomes a beacon of hope. Lady Evangeline and her allies vow to protect Adriana at all costs.
Yes. So
Interesting.
it implies that people knew that some people knew who she actually was. So if Lady Evangeline knew, of course Lord Victor knows.
Hmm.
What if you just type that? What does it say? What does it do if you just type that?
Let's see. Hang on. Oh,
I think that's fine. What are you
well, no.
trying to add?
Let me think. Expand on the idea of Lady Evangeline and her allies vow to protect Adriana at all costs. List some of the allies.
Ah, there we go. Sir Cedric Stormguard, Soren Nightshade, Captain Alara Swiftwind, Archmage Thalarin, Rihanna Whisperwind. Wow.
So
Damn.
here then we got a whole another list of 5 NPCs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we got Sir Cedric, loyal to the black, protector. Sir
Hmm.
Cedric possesses a sword to defend Adriana against any threat, right? But he's also the loyal protector of the Blackwood family.
Yeah. So there's a there's oh
Uh-oh,
okay.
right? We know another mysterious and enigmatic
An enigmatic sorcerer.
character
Yeah.
here, a sorcerer. Let's see. Offers his expertise to aid Andrea in unlocking the secrets of her lineage.
Oh, I like this. Despite his shadowy reputation, he's a valuable ally.
So this also implies that they knew that there's a possibility she might be
Hmm.
kidnapped.
But here's
Cap.
something different. Wait a minute.
Hmm.
Captain Alara Swiftwind is another captain of the city guard.
Okay, so let me ask it then, because
Okay.
we've
Who?
we've
Yeah.
we've had 3 captains. Okay,
Hmm.
all right.
Yeah.
So let me see how I can ask this to see if I can. I want to make sense
Hmm.
to it.
Yeah.
All right. Hmm. see.
Well, one is a former captain. So we kind of already know there's a former captain. So there's really
Wait,
two captains.
who's the former captain?
The guy who's part of the Eclipse Society.
No, 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 no. There are three captains here because
Okay.
okay, let's see. There's probably I wonder I should be able to do captain. All right, so here we go. So we have
Oh,
because we
wait.
have
Okay, you're right. You're right. So there's Captain Roland.
okay.
Okay.
So we have okay, here we go. So we have Captain Roland.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna grab Captain Roland.
Right.
Him
Okay.
there.
Okay, so Silas is the former captain,
Okay,
so we don't
so
need him. We
Silas
don't
is the
need him.
former captain. We don't need him. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Marcus is the second captain.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then gotta get back down here. So where is this last?
Captain Alara Swiftwind.
All right. Here we go. We got you, Chat
Yeah.
GPT. We effed
Okay.
you up now. Okay. So
Yeah. Until it gives us some. This is gonna give us some crazy ass shit. You didn't. You didn't paste in the other
uh,
girl.
yeah, I will.
Okay.
Three captains.
Of the city guard.
Oh yeah, yes.
You should do that of the city guard.
All right. Okay. Rolling, and
Here we go. How does ChatGPT write itself out of
up
this one?
with that?
Oh God, here we
All
go.
right.
Here we
Okay.
Oh
Okay.
God. Oh,
Different
look at
narrative and
that. Oh
different roles.
wow.
So it cops to its error. It said,
Okay, yeah, it does.
okay, Captain Alara
Okay.
is the only captain of the city guard. The mention of Roland and Marcus was an error. They can either be disregarded or we can integrate them into the narrative in different roles if desired. For example, they could be respected lieutenants within the city guard or influential figures in other organizations within the city of light. Alternatively, they could be minor characters in their own unique storylines. Okay. What if
Okay.
I
I'm
say,
sorry. So here's the before you say
okay,
anything,
yeah,
you know you're dealing with something pretty advanced when it cops to its own mistakes. When it's like, yeah, I fucked up.
my bad, my bad. So, okay, so I
You,
got,
it's like I
okay.
didn't think you'd notice, but you caught me. So here we go,
Let's yeah, let's make them uh
lieutenants.
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 They're like,
Yeah.
okay, now they're lieutenants. So now
Yeah.
everybody knows they're lieutenants. We're
Hmm.
good. All right. So
Damn.
yeah, I mean,
Damn.
like
So, y- I mean, you could literally go through this, find mistakes, have ChatGPT fix the mistakes with decent stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you
So,
can you can just ask it and not give it any, like, just let it go. You can kind of just ask it very general and just let it go. Or you can kind of guide it, right? Like,
mhm.
depending on how you ask your questions and what information you provide, because you can provide a lot, like in this message, you can provide a lot of
I'm sure you
information in this
can.
message.
Mhm.
So I would be curious to see, like, if I really gave it a lot of information, like if I really gave it a lot of like strict parameters,
Mhm.
because I didn't really give it too many,
No. No.
I
Mm.
gave it pretty basic parameters of a BECMI adventure. Um, but
You know what
yeah,
would be interesting? You,
it's pretty wild.
is to what would be interesting is to go back to maybe the beginning of season 2, give it a very, very detailed account of the first episode
Hmm.
and tell it to expand on that and see where it actually goes.
It would need a very detailed account of the first episode, I think, to actually understand. But yeah, so that
Hmm.
is, I just wanted to share
Yeah.
that experience to show, what it could do in terms of
Hmm.
making a game. I think the thing that I was most impressed about, and the thing that I like didn't expect it to do, is I didn't expect it to do some BECMI things for me that made sense within BECMI.
Hmm.
So, and it wasn't perfect, but it was like it gave me enough information that I was like, wow, that's pretty good.
So here's the thing. Here's what I would want to know. It, if it could do this, could you ask it? And I don't know if you want to do this right now. This may be an experiment for another day.
Hmm.
Ask it. Ask it to take all of the information about night about the night in the city adventure, right?
Hmm.
That
I
is
just saw a
currently
cat
BECMI.
walk past in your background. It was blurred out, but it was just a blurry black thing.
Yeah, yeah, she's back. She's back there. She's hanging out back there. But ask it to update it to second edition rules. I wonder if it could do that.
Yeah, I don't know if it could take this whole thing and make it dead. Yeah, uh, that's
I mean,
probably an experiment for another day.
Mhm. It could probably take one of the monsters and do it, or
That's what
one
I
of the
was thinking.
NPCs and do it. But I'm
Hmm.
wondering if it could do the whole thing. If it could look at what it did, what it wrote, and then boom, give it the old second edition.
I I almost feel like it would not, it would like, because here's the thing. If it's really that
Hmm.
smart, it would know that second edition and BECMI are not all that different, and it might just give me the things that need changed.
Hmm. It might.
Yeah, or something along those lines, but
Yeah.
it's not a
Or
rabbit hole that
maybe. Yeah.
I'm like willing
Yeah.
to delve
Yeah.
into at the moment,
Right. Right. Hmm.
because I
But
know how
it's
these things
interesting.
go. But yeah,
But
I did I did a bunch
if
of
anybody's
weird.
yeah, yeah, if anybody's watching now or in the future, uh, and if you decide to do that, comment and let us know.
Yeah, see, let us know
Let us let.
what it comes up with, how depraved you can get
Hmm.
ChatGPT to be with your villainous with villainous intent.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, just as an aside thing, I like one of the things that I did on here is this one over here. I
Moonlight Mirage Madness?
yeah, I
Oh
said,
God.
can you write a detailed synopsis of a new episode of the 90s anime Sailor Moon in the style of the original English dub? And it wrote
And
me
it did it.
Moonlight Mirage Madness. And it said
Oh my
like
God.
Serena and her friends, Serena. It's
Uh-huh.
it you
Yeah.
know,
It gives Serena, yeah.
first the park's owner, the enigmatic Mr. Shadow appears out of
Boy,
nowhere, offering
I'm
Serena
telling
and
you
her
right
friends
now,
free tickets to the park's grand opening, despite
Chat
Luna's
GPT.
warnings.
Chat GPT loves the word enigmatic. Enigmatic is like, hey, it's like it's like Chat GPT's word of the day.
It is word of the day. But yeah, I mean, like, Luna's warnings, they eagerly accept tickets to the park, right? Of course,
Uh-huh.
it's not an ordinary amusement park, you know,
The the new powerful new enemy, the Mirage
Mirage
Mistress.
Mistress, right? Of course. She's got to dig deep within herself to find the
Yes,
strength to break
because that
free from the
happens.
spell. The power of love and friendship by her side. Sailor Moon unleashes her moon tier magic, shattering the Mirage Mistress's illusions and saving the day once again. Of course, it's like
Yes. So,
it,
but
it's it's
here's the thing though. Here's
it's
the
like
thing
a
about
standard
that.
episode.
Here's the thing about this though.
Hmm,
So, one, ChatGPT has access to all of Sailor Moon episodes. ChatGPT has access to all of the Sailor Moon fanfic. And I guarantee you, you're not the first person to ask that question of
yeah,
ChatGPT, and it's got all that knowledge too. So,
yeah. So it's just wild, man. It is just
yeah.
wild.
So what does this mean? So, like, what do you think this means for role playing going forward for RPGs, for DMs, for Wizards of the Coast? What do you think this means
Yeah,
going forward?
I don't know. I mean, listen, you gotta. I don't know. I want to say that people should be writing stuff, but it's people are gonna use this for sure. It's gonna be
What's
used.
gonna Yeah.
You know what
Okay.
I kind of like about it
Hmm.
as a DM. What I kind of like about it is that all of the people that would want to hear me talk about our our game that we play,
Right.
like that would be willing to bounce ideas off of I could bounce uh, play in the game.
Right.
I don't have
Right.
anybody like that I can talk, but it's not on here. But I asked, wait, is it on here? Hang on. It might not be on here. No, it's not on here. But
Hmm.
I asked I asked an AI about Lore and Anya,
Okay.
and I gave it some detailed information about
Okay.
Lore and about Anya and about kind of the relationship that ties them together.
Hmm.
And I was able to talk to the chat GPT, or no, I don't think it was chat GPT. It was some other thing. But I was able to talk to it, chat with it about
Hmm.
the situation.
Okay.
And it was just interesting to like get feedback
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
that I can maybe use or maybe not use, but that's kind of what I find interesting about it is that like I might be able to plug in an idea that I have and and have it spit back something about that idea that I didn't
Right.
initially like conceive.
Mhm.
So, maybe there's and or it again, it kind of like it kind of resolved some of its own problems. So I'm wondering if I could use it to be like, okay, I have this kind of situation where I need this kind of resolved. Like give me some suggestions on how I might resolve this, right? And it's
Mhm.
like I don't know. It I feel like it could be a useful brainstorming tool.
Right. Yes. Mhm.
In the same way that I would never use like we use a lot of AI art for our like thumbnails and for our characters because like none of
Do.
us are artists. But if we
Yes.
were like gonna put out like a product to sell to people,
Mhm.
we would pay an artist.
We would.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we
Yes. We
actually
would
know a
we
bunch of
would
artists that we would probably pay one of our
yes.
friends to
Yes. To
illustrate
do
or to
this.
do a
Yes.
cover
Mhm.
or whatever we needed. So yeah, I would never in the same way that I would never use AI to make something like that, but definitely to like to get some ideas for an adventure that I was gonna have, like just to like especially if I was gonna needed to throw together something quick. Yeah, yeah. One of the things that I asked AI is I asked it to give me names male, female, and unisex that rhyme with Drake.
God. How many did it spit out?
Not that many, to be honest. Most of the ones that I've already kind of figured that I've already kind of known, but there were a couple of weird ones that I was like, okay. So, in situations like that, it's like yeah, I
Mhm.
would use that for
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like if I'm trying to fill out the tungsten clan with,
Right.
like, to keep the theme and to
To
cuz it,
keep to keep you gotta keep the joke going. Yeah.
keep the joke
Mhm.
going, right? Yeah. So, you know, there are definitely uses for it. There are definitely tools. I am quite positive that there's probably product on Drive Through RPG right now that was made at least in part using AI
Oh, I'm sure.
that somebody's like selling, like
Mhm.
guaranteed.
I'm sure.
Now that I've seen like this and like I'm like, oh yeah, somebody's trying to pass this off for sure.
Mhm.
And again, maybe with heavy editing and all that kind of thing, maybe you could.
Well,
But you'd
come
still
on.
have to put work into it.
I mean, you think about this. A lot of the dreck coming out of Hollywood in movies and TV, there's no way that some of that's not AI.
At this point, I don't
There's
I
there's
yeah, people are using it for everything at this point.
mhm.
So,
There's no way it's not AI.
yeah. But on that note, we have been going for quite a while,
Yeah, we have.
and I I I drank my whole water, so you know what that
Oh,
means. Yeah, yeah.
yep,
So
yep.
so I think it's about time to wrap it up here. Of
Yeah, I think
course,
so.
if you're watching now or if you're watching in the future, thanks for watching. Please hit like, subscribe for more content like this or like our regular Dungeons and Dragons games. Check out our regular Dungeons and Dragons game. We have a weekly game. Normally, we're here playing uh, D&D, our game Up and Away. So check those out. There's more than 50 episodes across 3 seasons, as well as some other games that we've played on here. Enjoy all that. And
Yeah.
We will see you again next time.